fucking sick of all these goddamn articles you see once a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks. You see an article about how technology is making us fucking stupider, how kids are gonna grow up retarded and not able to pay attention to things for long durations of time because we are glued to our iPhones and our Androids and our iPads and our computers and our messaging and all this shit, and it's rewiring the human brain to make us a bunch of goddamn idiots who can't pay attention for more than a few seconds at a time. That's the line you always read in these publications. And you know, I have no doubt that technology has changed the way the human mind works, because exposure to anything changes the way the human mind works. That's the whole point of the human mind. It is malleable. You can change it and adapt it to different situations, especially when you're young. The way that we develop is, you know, if you're constantly barraged with information, your mind is going to process information quickly. If you're not barraged with information, you're not going to process information quickly. It's all a matter of how you're brought up, how you develop cognitively, all right? And this idea that now we have no attention span, it's probably true to an extent, but who fucking cares? That's how information is shared now, right? I mean, this is like bemoaning the fact that children who grew up during the Industrial Revolution no longer had adequate farming skills. They don't need adequate fucking farming skills anymore. That's not the only way to eke out an existence on the planet. And you know what? Sitting down and laboriously pondering over the issues of the day, you know, first of all, that never produced all good results in the first place. I know plenty of old people. They don't get on their goddamn iPhones. They don't have a computer. They don't know how to work the internet. It doesn't matter. They still fucking exist in the world, but they're not like these great super geniuses who make us look like imbeciles in comparison. Most of these idiots are watching Fox News all day because they can't keep more than one thought in their head at the same fucking time. Meanwhile, you have people like George Carlin, who right up until his very dying day was sharp as a fucking whip and could juggle 1,000 ideas at once and display his magnificent brilliance to us in comedy special after comedy special. You know, there's not one proper way the human mind should work. And we have new ways of eking out an existence on this planet. And that's all you can really expect of us, right? If you can function in your society as it exists now, if you can find a place, what does it matter if you have a long attention span or a short one? What does it matter what your skill set is, as long as there's a place for you in society? As long as you have a means of waking up every day, feeding yourself, clothing yourself, sheltering yourself, as long as you can do that, what does it really fucking matter? Are these people afraid that human society is going to collapse because people are spending too much time on their fucking iPhones? Give me a break. Maybe they're the ones that iPhones have made stupid. Anyway, in football news, and please don't click away. I know that a lot of you don't like football. That's fine. That's fine. This has nothing to do with actual football. I'm not going to talk about the big game or anything like that because I know my audience, for the most part, just doesn't give a fuck. There were some interesting things that happened during the AFC Championship game between the Steelers and the New York Jets. Some really kind of strange things. A disproportionate number of strange things happened during that game than, you know, you would typically expect in an NFL game, because usually nothing bizarre happens. But this time it did. Here's some examples. Mark Sanchez, quarterback for the New York Jets, was picking his nose on the sideline. And, you know, nothing wrong with that. I pick my nose, you pick your nose, we all pick our noses. Don't lie and say you don't. I mean, the strange thing is that he would do it when he knows there's cameras around broadcasting his image nationally, but maybe he just doesn't give a fuck, and I can respect that. But what's kind of strange is that he wiped it on a teammate afterwards. You know, I've picked my nose a lot. I've done it in public. I've done it in YouTube videos. I've done it on blog TV broadcast. But I can honestly say I've never wiped my booger on a friend or a family member or even an enemy. I've never wiped my booger on a person. So I want to thank Mark Sanchez for giving me something new to try. In another bizarre event, Steelers player Rashard Mendenhall humped Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger after a big play. That's kind of strange. I mean, I think that kind of thing should wait until you get home. It just seems kind of odd that this would happen because, you know, usually when the NFL is not beating the shit out of each other and damaging each other's bodies permanently and glorifying violence in America. They're trying to do that family image, like, ooh, good old wholesome game of football, you know? So it's kind of weird to see a football player humping another football player right after a play. And it's not like one thrust where it could be like, that was probably just an accident. It was like, bam, 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 eat that dick, Roethlisberger. Very strange. And if you saw the newscast about the game in Kentucky, you found out that it wasn't the New York Jets that lost to the Steelers, it was the Jew York Jets that lost to the Steelers. Quite an unfortunate typo considering how many Jews live in New York. And, well, hey, it was Kentucky. Maybe it wasn't a typo, you know? Yeah, so there's this guy named Eric Erickson. Stupid fucking name, I know. He is the editor-in-chief at redstate.com, which gets about 4.5 million visits a month. And he is a contributor to CNN. In fact, he's slated to give commentary on the upcoming State of the Union address that Barack Obama is going to give soon. Anyway, here's what he said.
We will not endorse any candidate who will not reject the judicial usurpation of Roe v. Wade and affirm that the unborn are no less entitled to a right to live simply because of their size or their physical location.
He goes on to say,
once before, our nation was forced to repudiate the Supreme Court with mass bloodshed. We remain steadfast in our belief that this will not be necessary again, but only if those committed to justice do not waver or compromise and send a clear and unmistakable signal to their elected officials of what must be necessary to earn our support.
How nice, Eric Erickson. That is just wonderful. You don't support bloodshed as long as everyone complies with your demands. Yeah, I got a new jingle for your site. I wrote it in my spare time. I am a musical genius. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but here's my jingle for redstate.com. If you support the killing of fetuses, we'll embrace the killing of full-grown people. redstate.com. Yeah. So, in a story that I don't give two tugs of a dead dog's dick about, Rahm motherfucking Emanuel was removed from the mayoral ballot in Chicago because 2 out of 3 members of an appellate court thought that he just isn't qualified, he did not meet the residency standards because he didn't actually live there. His argument is, well, I got a house there and I pay mortgage there, so I should qualify. But 2 out of 3 members of the court felt that he didn't. So he's going to appeal it, and apparently I'm supposed to give a fuck for some reason. I live about 4 hours away from Chicago, but I still don't fucking care. You know why I don't care? Because I don't live in fucking Chicago. I know that Rahm Emanuel is something of a political celebrity, although I have no fucking idea why. I don't give a shit. Don't give a fuck. Do not give a flying fuck, okay? I just don't. I wish I did. No, I don't even wish I did. I don't even wish I did. I don't care. No one cares. Stop fucking putting this story on the top of headlines. I know that if you're a Republican, you hate Rahm Emanuel with just reflexively, so you're like, he got taken off the ballot. Good call. And if you're a Democrat, because the Republicans are against him, you have to love him instantly. So you're like, oh, that's bullshit. He got taken off the ballot. So, you know, it's pretty much one of those party line things where one side is saying, this is an outrage, and the other side is saying, this is a great day for democracy, and it's all bullshit. I just don't care. No one cares. No one should care. It's a fucking Chicago thing. If you live in Chicago, feel free to care. If you live anywhere else, shut the fuck up. Drudge Report, probably the top conservative news site on the internet. They have about 12 million regular viewers in America. They get about 700 million views per month, and people click on an average of 10 links while there. So this is a very influential conservative site. They've started putting out a bunch of stories about Obama's birth certificate. That's right, they've embraced the birther narrative over at the Drudge Report. They used to not do that. At the height of the birther furor, the Drudge Report did not mention the issue, at least not very often. You know, they left it to the right-wing fringe like WorldNet Daily and all those really out there publications, but now even the Drudge Report's doing this shit. They had a story today, they had 2 stories the day before that, and they had 2 stories the day before that. This is a site read by 12 million people, and they're printing a story that's been discredited literally since the moment it was conceived. He was mentioned in the newspaper, ladies and gentlemen. They said, congratulations, Obama's parents for having Barack Obama, their son, Hawaii newspaper, from the date of his birth, well, the day after. How do you refute that? Unless you believe that there is a giant conspiracy from this kid's birth to one day make him president, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. This literally is the most nonsensical fucking story in history. And the Drudge Report is apparently taking it seriously. So anyway, Marilyn Manson's a hipster now. Makes no sense. In fact, I don't think anything in the world makes sense to me anymore. Pretty sure that I am just totally lost. And in a little bit of sad nostalgia news, Wizard Magazine, the first really big comic book magazine in America, has folded. And I'm sad, because I used to read this as a teenager, and I had a lot of friends who read it. You know, at its height, it had, hundreds of thousands of readers, and now I think the last issue was like 18,000 readers. So, it's sunk into obscurity. Kind of a sad little thing, to see the death of an old friend, basically. Wizard Magazine, I give you a nerd salute. I'm gonna do the glasses up here. That's the nerd salute. It's like, you don't do this, do this. In fact, I want to have a moment of silence for Wizard Magazine. Just a 10-second moment of silence, if we could. Can we just end the video on a 10-second moment of silence? I really want you to be quiet. Like, if you're talking to a friend or something, shut the fuck up! We're respecting Wizard Magazine here. 10 seconds of silence, beginning now. This is fucking boring. That's enough silence. Anyway,